So I saw this trailer for a movie starring Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman called Lucy. I'll put a trailer in the description. Sorry. Anyways, and it plays on the classic, we only use 10% of our brains, which is utter and complete bullshit. But first I'm going to talk about the movie a little bit, and then I'll talk about how that is utter and complete bullshit. So, the idea is that, it's like Limitless, only she gets mind powers, essentially. And things that I like about the movie is that, one, the main protagonist is this badass chick. She's they made the super intelligent and badass and powerful person a girl instead of typically using a male for that role, which makes me really happy because I'm kind of like seeing girls in there sometimes. My inner feminist is happy, let's just say that. But also the fact that they cast a black person to be the super smart scientist, so I like that too because it's almost always a white guy. So first of all, the movie gets some credit for those kind of elements that they're not typically having, straight white cis dudes play all the important characters. So I like that. Moving on to the actual science of it. We use all of our brains. We don't have we're not just having this giant brain in our heads that's just empty space, not doing anything. No, we use the entirety of our brains. The whole 10% was originally came from a scam that someone was saying, you only use this small, scientifically has been proven, you only use a small amount of your brain, I can teach you how to unlock all of it. And then all these science fiction things have come out about unlocking the entirety of your brain and everything else. But if you just think about it for 2 seconds, it is the stupidest idea you've ever heard, because why the fuck would we go through generation of having a great giant head proportionately that makes it so that we have to give birth earlier in our, development, so that when we're born we're completely helpless unlike other animals, and all this other stuff, and everything else that comes with having a big head, which is not very advantageous, if we didn't use the entirety of the brain that makes our head so big. Like, it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. So if we, evolutionarily speaking, we would have lost the big brain if we weren't using it, because when it comes to evolution, you use it or you lose it. Now, the science that this comes from is the fact that our brains use way more energy than any other animal on Earth. So in an attempt to conserve energy, just for some information, adults typically 20% of their energy intake gets used towards brain power, even though the brain only takes up 2% of your body mass. So that's a lot proportionately. And to optimize the energy, the brain uses the entirety of the brain gets used, but only up to about 16% of your neurons are firing at any one time. That means at 1 second, it doesn't mean that that's all that ever fires. It's constantly jumping, ones are turning on and off, blinking lights to make a cool show or something. So it's not that that's where it comes from. But the whole idea that you can become a super intelligent, super powered whatever is just stupid, because first of all, the reason why that happens, like I said, is to conserve energy. So this drug that they keep on, having will access your whole brain and everything else, that thing had better, one, give you a shit ton of energy so that your brain can have the energy to fire all that stuff without, exhausting all of your resources, and two, shut off the part of your brain that wants to conserve any energy it gets. So right away we're finding problems. But then we look at children and toddlers. You probably notice that they're able to take in a lot of information and they can learn things really quickly. This is because children typically use up to 50% of their energy intake towards brain power, and baby toddlers use 60%. So, unfortunately, where I got this information didn't say how much of their neurons are firing at one time, but the fact that they're using that much more energy implies that their brain is doing a hell of a lot more. So, basically, we don't need a superpower drug because our brains already do this. And the whole idea of having 100% for thinking is just stupid, because I don't know if you've noticed, but the brain isn't responsible for a lot more than just thinking. It's responsible for controlling your body, making sure your heart keeps ticking and your lungs keep breathing, and that your blood keeps flowing, and all the other fantastic things that the body does. There are different spots responsible for immune response and for digestion, for your senses and everything. Only about the first front half is responsible for thinking. The rest of it is for, well, not even the front half. It's like the front third, just a bit more. The frontal lobe is responsible for thinking. However, memories are stored all over, so if you suffer brain damage, you haven't lost all your memories and you got hit in the right spot. So the entire brain is used, but not for thinking. So you can't make your entire brain start working towards thinking because, well, then your body wouldn't be able to do anything else. So basically, whenever I see a movie come out with the whole, I'm going to use my 100% of my brain, and then I'll be like, super awesome, it's just like, no. Granted, if you could access the amount of your brain that children do with that somehow energy supply, then, okay, yeah, you could totally, like, learn things super quickly, and that's about it. That's about as accurate as it goes, but the thing is that the way they show, like, these super geniuses and everything else, no, I mean, there's only so much capacity you have, because the thing is that what your brain does is that it deletes old memories that doesn't seem important anymore. So the more information you put in, the more information it has to send out. You actually forget 60% of what happens to you. Then again, everyone gets freaked out by this, but it's actually things like the color of the t-shirt of the person who sat next to you on the bus, or what kind of car drove by you on the street, or like dumb shit like that that's garbage, essentially. However, the more time goes by, the more you're going to forget from your past, which is why, you don't remember what happened on July 5th when you were 5. There's some people who this happens with, and they're like fucked for everything else, but yeah.